Hello, students. I am so excited that we get to meet again in our wonderful class. Are you ready for today's class? Are you ready? I am just as ready as you are. So come along, let's begin. So, in today's math class, what are we going to discuss? Do you know? Do you know what we are going to discuss today? Yes, we are going to discuss surds, just like you can see on the board. Today, we are going to study more about the rationalization of surds. Again, we are going to study more about the rationalization of surds in our class today. Do you remember surds? Yes. In our previous lesson, we talked about it. So today, we are going to discuss more about that. Now, let me ask you a question. How would you simplify an expression of the form 1 divided by square root of 5? So in today's class, we are going to learn more about how to simplify such expressions. So with the example 1 divided by the square root of 5, if we want to solve or simplify such an expression, what do we do? So that is where we use the rationalization of surds. So what does it mean to rationalize a surd? So now you see that with the surd we have the numerator and then we also have the denominator. The numerator is 1 and the denominator is square root of 5. So normally with rationalization, we do not like to see the denominator with the surd or the denominator with the square root sign. So what we do with rationalization is that we will remove the square root sign from the denominator. So when we see the denominator with the square root sign, when we are simplifying, our aim is to remove the square root sign from the denominator. But the question is, how is it done? So follow me through in this lesson and then you'll get to know. So let's start with the example on the board. We are going to rationalize 1 divided by the square root of 5. So follow through with the steps. So as I said, how do we get rid of the square root sign with regards to the denominator? How do we get rid of it? So we multiply the numerator by the denominator. So we see we have 1 over square root of 5, right? Okay. So what you will do is that you take square root 5, which is the denominator, multiply it by the numerator, which is 1, and again multiply it by the denominator, which is square root of 5. So let's see how that is done. So we are going to have our solution 1 divided by square root of 5 multiplied by the numerator, which is square root of 5, and then we multiply again by the denominator, which is the square root of 5. So you see that we took the square root of 5 and then we multiplied by the numerator. Then after that, we again multiplied by the denominator. Now, let's go ahead with our simplification. So we now have, or we are now going to have 1 multiplied by the square root of 5, or divided by square root of 5 multiplied by square root of 5. Now let me ask you another question. So focus on the denominator now. So square root of 5 multiplied by square root of 5. What answer would that give us, or what would that do? Yes, this can help us to get rid of the square root sign. Again, I am saying that square root of 5 multiplied by square root of 5, when we are able to perform that operation, that will help us to get rid of the square root sign. So now let's look at how this is done. So you see we have square root of 5 multiplied by square root of 5. What would the answer be? So in our previous lessons with regards to sets, we said that when you multiply two sets which have the same number within the square root sign, or if you multiply the same set, what would the answer be? But before that, let's take a look at this particular example here. 4 multiplied by 4. What would the answer be? Yes, the answer will be 4 raised to the power 2. That is right. 4 raised to the power 2. So in a similar manner, let's try to apply that with regards to square root of 5 multiplied by square root of 5. So with this one, we realize that they are the same sets. So this means that our answer will be equal to, yeah, try. Yes, square root of 5 all in one bracket raised to the power 2. Square root of 5 all in one bracket raised to the power 2. This is right. So we are on the right path. And again, remember that the power 2 and then the power, or the square root sign, what will happen to them? They will cancel out. The power 2 and the square root sign will cancel each other out. So will the square root sign be there again? No. The square root sign will go off because we have been able to cancel out the square root sign with the power 2. So now our answer will be 5, right? Yes. So do you see, or do you still see the square root sign? No. So that means that with this particular expression, we are able to get rid of our square root sign. Now let's go back to our main example. So now we know 1 multiplied by square root of 5, and then now from our previous example, we came to realize that square root of 5 multiplied by square root of 5 gives us square root of 5 all raised to the power 2. So now we also know that the power 2 will cancel the square root sign, leaving 5 as our answer. So now 1 multiplied by 5, what would the answer be? The answer will be the same as square root of 5. The answer will be the same as square root of 5. Now we also know that with regards to the denominator, the power 2 and then the square root sign cancel out. So the answer would be 0. No, the answer will be 5. Because when the square root sign cancels out, you realize that there will be 5 still there in the expression. So our answer will be 5. Now, can you see when we compare our answer to the main question? Do you see, or do you still see the square root sign in the denominator, do you still see it? No. So this means that we've been able to get rid of the square root sign successfully. And that is what it means to rationalize a denominator of a surd. So what have we been able to study in today's class? We've been able to learn how to rationalize the surd or the denominator of a surd. So now let me give you one example and see if you can also do that on your own. And let's see. Now, this example is for you to do on your own. Don't peep into your friend's work. Try this on your own. I'm giving you 1 minute. Let's see if you can actually do or follow us with regards to the lesson today. Remember that if you are working or when you are solving, the first thing you do is to look at the denominator. Look at the denominator. The square root sign there or the surd there, you multiply it by the numerator, then you come and multiply it by the denominator. Okay, continue with your work. Are you done? Oh, okay, let me just give you a few more seconds to complete your work. I'm sure by now you are done. All right, well done. So what answer did you get after solving? All right, okay. So now let's try this whole example together and let's see if we get the same as you did. So first of all, we said your focus should be on the denominator. So what is the denominator in the question? Square root of 2, right? Yes. So what do? We multiply it by the numerator and then we multiply it by the denominator as well. So let's try that. So this is how it's going to be, right? Did you get the same thing? Okay, then well done. Now, what do we do next? We multiply the expressions. Now, with regards to the denominator, you know we have square root of 3 multiplied by square root of 3. What would the answer be? Yes, it would be square root of 3 to the power 2. So we pick one of the surds and then raise to the power 2 because they are the same. So we are going to have 2 multiplied by square root of 3, then square root of 3 all to the power 2. That is fine. So now, we also remember that the power 2 and then the square root sign, what will happen? Yes, they will cancel out. Well done. So did you get that as well? Okay. So let's continue. We see that the square root sign is cancelling out with the power 2. Now what do? We continue with our simplification. 2 multiplies square root of 3 and it becomes, yes, 2 square root of 3. Then divided by 3. Now, can you see the denominator being 0? No, it's not 0. So what would the answer be? 3. Yes, 3. Did you get the same answer? Oh, okay, then you're on the right path. So that is a very well done work, guys. Well done. Now let me ask you another question again for you to ponder about. If, for instance, we have a fraction, and the denominator is, say, square root of 9, how would you work that? How would you simplify that? What's the first thing you would do? So let's take a look at the example on the board, what I'm talking about. Say we have an expression a divided by the square root of 9. What would you do first to simplify this expression? Would you add? No. Would you multiply? Yes. Multiply how? You multiply square root 9. So you multiply square root 9 by the numerator and you multiply square root 9 by the denominator. Yes. If you do that, then you are going to solve this example very well. So in today's class, what have we done? So we looked at the rationalization of sets, right? And then we said if we have a set that has a denominator with the square root sign, we do not want the square root sign, right? So we remove it. How? We first of all do that by multiplying the numerator and then the denominator by that set or square root sign. That is exactly what we'll do. So now I wish to give you a trial example for you to do on your own. So try. If you are maybe free at home, then you can do that whilst you are home. So this is our try example or our try work. Rationalize the expression 5 divided by the square root of 7. Rationalize the expression 5 divided by the square root of the expression. So try your hands on this particular example. All right. I am so excited that we have been able to finish with our class today. And I wish that we will meet again in our next lesson.